Hello there everyone, it's Carol from the Crafty Emporium. I've done this video as a live. I haven't invited anyone to come and have a look, so I'm not expecting any kind of chat. It's quicker for me to do a live video than it is to record it, then upload it, then upload, you know how it goes. So this is the completed journal after having done a series of workshops over a couple of months now to work on this. And if you have a look at the top up here where it says home, video, playlists, there is actually a playlist for all of the tutorials right the way throughout making this particular journal. Okay, so I'll just give you a close-up of the front cover, because in the last video that I did I gave a rough idea of what I was going to be doing on the cover, but I didn't actually cover it in the video itself. So I'm just going to talk through what I've actually done. If you don't want to listen to that bit, you may want to just skip along just a little bit. So basically I had the three images that I talked about, which was the nature notes, the rabbit cut apart here, and then this picture of Edith Holden herself. And those were the only three things that I'd kind of got in the last video. So what I've actually done is in the very first, oh, who's that? There's someone watching. Hello there, Angela. What a stunning, beautiful cover. Thank you. So in one of the very first videos, I talked about dyeing the papers, and I dyed some of my papers green, and then I cut them out using the Tim Holtz dye. So I've put several of those on here, and then some little tiny flowers on this section here. Just some people watching me. Hi. Part of my video now. Put some cheesecloth hanging out the bottom. Put some flowers on here. Now they were white, and what I've actually done is I got some of my Tim Holtz ink, old paper I think it was, and I'd got the refill bottle, and I just tipped some out onto my glass mat, and then with a paintbrush I just very carefully painted around the central area, and the paper itself was so absorbent that I knew that it would bloom, which is what it's done. So I put some of those on there. I put another, let me just take this ribbon off. I put another couple of die cuts here, and then some more flowers. I've got some lace here, and then a crochet bit of lace. And again, what I did with this, it was too white against the background cover, and so again with the old paper, I'm sure it was old paper, distress stain, I just got my paintbrush and painted it over a little bit. So this kind of cover, it sort of, it hides the fact that the inside is really bright and colourful, because this is actually quite subdued on the front. Okay, so if you've scrolled all the way across to omit the little boring, maybe to you, bit about how I actually created the cover, you can start to replay again now, because I'm going to go to the inside. There isn't much different to what you've already seen anyway. So we've got the front picture in here, and I did the hitch post with the seam binding closure. And what I did was, it just needed a little something to just finish off this page, and so all I've done is I've just done a faux stitching border all the way around, and then inside of the pocket there is a tag, just a double tag, a book page that I've cut into a tag shape, and then that then is for the new owner to do with as she wishes, so that it gives her something to do as well. This was a freebie library card that I had on my, excuse me, on my Facebook group for everyone to print off. So I've used that in there, and then I've just decorated it up here, and then the library cards sit in there, but there's also a little tuck spot underneath the actual, if I can remove that, underneath the actual library card pocket. There's a little hidden tuck spot in there, so that a little piece can be written on and hidden away for secrets. A punched board edge page. Here I just used a piece of tracing paper with some words on and just glued that on, so it leaves this whole page for the owner to write on. This was one of the pages out of the book, more pages for writing on, and then this is a trapped hydrangea flower from my mum's garden, which I've laminated and just stitched around it and then stitched it to the page. Here we've got a flip up, and there is a butterfly and some flowers, and then inside of there is a guest check that I've made into a little flip tag, and just layered some flowers and bits and pieces on the bottom of that, so it's ideal for writing on. And then a memory notes card. Sorry, I'm on a main road and ambulances and fire engines come by a lot. So that's those in there. Done a little bit of stamping in the background. This is a vintage ledger page, and this was a ticket that I coffee dyed, and then I've just put a flower on. A glassine bag which I folded lengthways instead of halfways, so there's one part of it on this side and then there's one part on further on in the journal. And then inside of there is a very long little folded bookmark, so that can be written on. I haven't got enough space. Come on, there you go. That's your new home. Okay. There's one of the circle flowers at the top here, and then I've done some ruffled seam binding down the edge. Another coffee dyed page. One of the cutouts from one of the books, which I've made into a pocket, and then inside of there is another book page which I folded into a tag shape and put some of this, I love this, frilly little trim across the top. One of my little notes pages. This is a little half page, but I've stuck a money envelope on it which flips open, and so something can be inserted inside the pocket of the envelope there. And then I've just decorated up the front, give you a close-up again, and layered a ticket up with some cheesecloth and a flower and a button. On this one I just did a simple paperclip embellishment, and then I made this envelope of a book page, so that just sits under there. This was the paper napkin envelope that I did in one of the videos. So I just did one of the paper napkins, found a purple stamp, and then did some stamping on the back of that. On the background of that, I should say, not on the back. This is one of the pages of mulberry paper where I wet around the edges and tore it out, and then decorated up some of the corners of the page. But on the back side of it I actually stitched on a piece of tracing paper so that you could see the image. Again, I'll do a close up for you to see, so that you can see the image on the page underneath. Excuse me, my breathing's not great again at the minute. The weather here is horrible. It's really dull and overcast, but really warm, which is not great for my breathing. This was a Sarah Midder page from out of one of her books, so I made a pocket out of that, and then I did this very simple pocket tag with a little saying on it. So that's just a very simple tag that sits inside of that pocket. I embossed a glassine bag. Again, I'll show you a close up. So you see I've embossed that, and then I've just run some distress ink over the top of it and attached it just around two sides. Put a flower on here so that it becomes a tuck spot, and then I've put a paint chip inside the glassine bag, and then tucked behind that there is a decorated index card and just a real simple little notepad. Put some buzzy bees on. This was a double envelope creation. so that you open up the envelopes like so, and then you've got something tucked inside each side of the envelope there, and then the flaps create a tuck spot which I've decorated up with a doily so that that becomes a tuck spot there. This was another image from one of the pages from out of the book, and I fussy cut around the shape of it and left it so that it was a tuck top loading pocket at the top up there. Now these words were on the bottom of the page, so when I took them out of the book, so I just cut them up and just highlighted them on the top of the page to explain to you what those things were. So that's hawthorn blossom and a small tortoise shell butterfly. These were Tim Holtz stamps that I used here, and I just did them on tracing paper and then just attached them to the page to just break up the blankness of the page a little bit. This was wallpaper, so I created an envelope, and this is the centre of the signature. So I wasn't able to glue this all together until I'd stitched all the signature in place. So there's a big large pocket there, and then again I used two of the die cuts here, so I'll give you a close-up too, that I just did, one at the top and one at the bottom so that they meet in the middle to just fill that the length of that flap. I did a piece of printed tracing paper on the back as a pocket and created just an index, not an index, what they call ledger card. It's a ledger sheet which I've just folded into three to sort of almost make a little mini folded booklet. This was a very long envelope that I made out of one of the book pages and put some sticky flower on it, a stamp, used a little tag, used a piece of the mulberry paper, which is what I ripped out of that window page, put some lace on the back, and then there's a little ticket on the back to actually put the flap underneath that if you wanted to, but I've actually left it open because I've put the flap over the top of the page so that it flips over the top there, so that I can then put the paper clip on to hold it in place. There's another acetate window here of some honesty, and then on this page again, just to break up the monotony of the blank page, because sometimes a blank page is quite daunting when you're going to write on it, so if it's partially decorated it just helps to create a nice flow area for you to write on. So I just put this sticker on here, and the pink I just thought matched up nicely with this pocket. Sorry if everyone's saying hello to me, I'm kind of ignoring the chat at the moment, so hello everyone that's here watching, because I just want to get through doing the video. So I just created another long pocket here and fussy cut around the edge of the shape of the pattern, and then made this card, and again used one of the pages from out of one of the country diary books, which is Oh to Be in England Now That April's There. Robert Browning, I think it was, wrote that one. Just decorated it up with a little die cut that I'd got, and again this was one of the cards that I decorated up at the beginning of the video, showing you how to decorate some of the pages with your coffee dyes and your inks. And then I've just got this little triple envelope, I suppose, triple pocket envelope with some journaling cards in there, and put ooh, what do you call them? Wax seal. Oh, I couldn't think of the word. Age is getting to me. On this page here, this was a tea bag, an empty tea bag, which I showed how to go about stamping on there, and then I just stamped and punched a little tracing paper butterfly on there, so that what we've actually got tucked inside, because it's when you open it up there is a pocket here to be able to add a little something inside of there, but I've only attached it around three sides so that it's now a top loading pocket, and it's got the index card in which I've decorated up excuse me, and a seed packet which I got from a digital kit that I purchased about gardening. So I'll put that in there, and I'm sorry I can't remember whose it was. So on this page here, I've just put some lace across the top, a little saying, and a little spray of flowers, die cut flowers. This is another page from a book by Sarah Midder, and I just glued it down the two sides so that it left both the top and the bottom open, so that the tag itself can slide right the way through. And so I just used one of my cigarette card digital kits to decorate the front of it up, and then I just decorated the back, made a pocket and added a couple of tags in the back, made a decorated ticket here excuse me, with the words "make a difference" on it. And then just to break up the straight edges of the pocket, I added 3 little punched out bees there. This is the other side of the mulberry paper, and one of the cutouts from one of the books again, and I've added it on the edge so that it forms a little bit of a tab on the side. On the back of that there is another verse here, which again I just glued around 3 sides and made up a tag excuse me, from an observer's book, and it's just left blank on the back, so that's for journaling on the back of it. This was a pocket that I made from another book page, and then again this was part of one of my digital kits to do with the cigarette cards, and I've added a bulb pin with the word hope as a little word charm on there. These two I cut out and attached those onto the bulb pin, and then the back of this is decorated papers, a little pocket at the bottom using the words that were part of the cigarette cards, because this tickled me. The great hairy willow herb. I mean, what a name for a plant. Great hairy willow herb. And then the other one was called Herb Robert. Oh, simple pleasures, please simple minds. And then I just did a tracing paper pocket on the back and just added some paper inside of there, and that sits inside of that pocket. Great hairy. Oh dear. This is another tea bag pocket that I stamped up and put a little tracing paper verse on it, or words, a little saying, little by little, day by day, what is meant for you will find its way. And then tucked behind there was another tag that I made, and this is a little flip tag, so that again the owner can put something on the inside of the tag and also on the back of that. And this was some decorated paper that was to do with the country diary, and then this was one of the verses from out of the book again, and again another die cut piece from the dyed paper that I made. I think it was in the first or the second video that I did that. Showed you how to go about dyeing the papers. Another half flip page, again with the laminated flowers in there. And then this was the belly band, where I made an envelope that's just folded into 3 and put the brad on and the circle and some string, so that's a little spot in there. And then with this belly band, the butterfly and the flower slides up and down on the belly band, but I did actually leave the belly band open at the top so that it also forms a pocket. And then with a very simple index card, just folded it in half, punched the top edge of the tag to create the shape, and so that now forms a little space for writing onto, and that tucks into the top of the belly band. And then that envelope just sits underneath the belly band itself. In fact, I think I wanted that in there. I'm going to leave it out for a moment, but this was something else I just finished off making, and I embossed the guest check, put put some buttons across the top and just glued it across the top of this card. And again, this was one of the cards that I decorated in one of the first videos when I talked about dyeing the background papers. So I'm going to slot that in somewhere. I might actually put it in there. Again, just to break up the monotony of the page here, I just put on one of the little flower stickies that I've got. And then this is the other half of that glassine bag. And again, it's got a really long bookmark in it. And I just thought that that was so pretty in terms of its colours. The greens and the pinks, and then there's a little bit of writing at the bottom, but I've just put it onto a piece of the manila file folder to cut it out as the bookmark and just to give it a little bit of backing. This is the other side of the vintage ledger paper, which flips over, but then it flips out so that you've got all this space for writing on. And then on the very edge of the page, I just stitched down some pieces from a book page that I just ripped out and attached to the edge of the page, so they almost act as little tabs. This was a big ruffle. This was a piece of silk fabric that I dyed, and I just attached it onto the page itself and just felt that it needed just a little bit of something else to just finish it off. And so I'd got these circular flowers, which again, there is a tutorial for those, and I've just attached that to the bottom of the ruffle to just kind of finish it off. This is where I was going to add it. I knew I'd got somewhere intended for it, so that was going to sit in there. Was it in there? It's a bit big. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I lied. Okay, so this was another book page that I cut out the daffodil pocket, and then I made the guest check. Sorry, not guest check. The repair tag, which I decorated up with some layering, and then one of these little metal rimmed things, key things. So that sits in there because it's the yellow with the yellow. The book page, which flips open. Here there's an oak leaf which I put behind some plastic and onto some fabric. Punch the edge of the page here, and then this paper clip just holds this Ceramida page here in place, which I've attached with washi tape to act as the hinge to flip this open. So you've now got this area to write on here. And then the very back of the cover, excuse me, was just another one of the Edith Holden pages, and it just needed that little bit of something. So again, I just drew that little bit of faux stitching around the actual page itself. But this is a pocket, and inside of there's another book page which I've cut, folded and cut into a tag shape so that you can open it up and see the beautiful page on the inside as well as the outside images. And then this is where my seam binding is attached on the back. And then, as you can see from the back cover, this is the handmade paper that I used, which has already got flowers inside of the paper itself. So there's no, it's not a lacy journal, you know, it's not got loads of laces on the edges of the pages because I didn't think it needed it. And then there's lots of fluff and decorative bits on the top with the seam binding and the string, which I just thought sort of relayed a garden really. So so I need to find a home for that. Let me just see if I can decide where it's going to go. Just bear with me a sec. No, I think, no, 2 guest checks together, it's not going in there. That's where it was. I meant it for in there, if it'll go in. I maybe need to trim that down a bit. Right, I'm going to put that inside the envelope, but I'm going to trim it down just a touch because it's just a tad too long. But that's where that was intended. I knew I'd got somewhere I'd intended it for. Okay, so I'm just going to close that up. So as I say, I'm very sorry. I've not watched any of your chat that you've been typing, so I don't know if anybody asked me a question. But if you did, I will try and go through the chat a little bit later on and try and answer any questions if there were any. So thank you for popping by to watch the live. It wasn't intentional for you to all come along and come and join me. As I say, it was just a quick way for me to be able to just upload the video quickly for you all to be able to watch. So if you're watching the replay of this, thank you very much for popping by. Hello. And I hope that you've enjoyed the series of creating this journal. As I say, they are all gathered together in the playlist up there. So please, if you want to have a go at creating the journal, you'll find all sorts of hints and tips and ideas within amongst that collection of videos in the playlist. But yeah, that's my journal completed. Yay! Oh, someone's just writing something now. Hang on a minute. Who's that? Connie, nice to catch you live. You're very welcome, Connie. Nice to see you here. And you too, Sheila. I hope you feel better fast. It's just the continual breathing issue that I've got, so you know, it's just something I've got to learn to live with, unfortunately. It's a progressive disease, so it's not a cold or flu that I can get over. It's just something I've got to learn to live with, and unfortunately, when the weather's a bit rubbish like it is at the moment, it just aggravates it a bit and doesn't make it very nice. Hi there, Kelly. Nice to see you. I'm going now. I just wanted to pop by to show everyone the flip through of the journal. So I'm going to shoot off because I need to go and make myself a brew, the all-important brew, and I've got several more videos that I need to finish making today as well that need to go live today. So you never know, I might just do either another live rather than doing a video and then having to upload it and then upload it again and all the rest of it. So yeah. Someone just put something up. I'm sorry I missed it. Hi there from Italy. Hello there, Ivana. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. Right, I'm going to go, guys. And she does, Angela. So, Carol. Ooh, what was that? I missed that. Thank you very much, So, yeah, I'm on Instagram. I've got a Facebook group. And on my Facebook group, I have a little pop-up shop which we do once a month. There's several events go on, several swaps on my group. I missed Angela's question. I didn't say what it was. And I also have an Etsy store as well where I sell my digital kits. You know, they're not fancy schmancy. They're just a bit basic, but I enjoy creating them. What my Etsy shop name is. It's Crafty Emporium Design, the Etsy shop. I'll put links all in the description box down below. It's been lovely to watch the tutorials and this final flip through. Thank you very much, Jane. That's it, lol. So, right, I'm going to go, guys. Thank you for joining me. And if you're watching the replay, thank you very much for watching the video. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye. Draw. Bye. Love you. Bye. Okay, I'm being silly again. Draw.